Hello everyone, my name is Mishra and I will be presenting my research on exploring commercial development in Delhi's mixed-use neighborhood, how these mixed-use neighborhoods have seen the commercialization in past few decades in the residential neighborhood, and what are the various factors which are actually responsible for this kind of development. So as we can see that India is actually growing at a very rapid pace, and we can see that mostly the urban population in India residing in these areas is about 31%, which is expected to grow up to 40% in 2030. And the combined share of GDP which is held by the urban area is about 70%. So the monocentric cities are now changing into polycentric cities, and some of the important trends which we can see today are increasing population, rising household incomes, and increasing automobile use in these cities. That has fueled the growth and urban sprawl in this area. As you can see in the image, how Delhi's urban sprawl has actually grown in past few decades from 1950 to 2040. So this unchecked commercialization on the road have taken place into the residential area, and it is actually fueled by two important things. One is the reason for the people to actually do the economic activities to support their livelihood, and second, it is actually fueled by the accessibility, the roads and the network, which actually cater to the people, to the customers to come and reach to these areas and provide the shopping options from these areas. So it has actually resulted in a lot of residential areas converting into mixed-use areas. So in this study, if we see the evolution and how we have derived the research gap from this evolution, we can see that the rampant commercialization of residential areas has taken place, which has actually resulted in stakeholder conflicts between the administration, between the shop owners and the residents. And with this, a ceiling drive has taken place in 2006 in Delhi, but it has not actually helped in solving the problem. And later on, government have to actually regularize this kind of commercialization. And about 2,183 streets in Delhi were actually regularized as a commercial street located into the residential areas. There was serious lack of parking and infrastructural provisions in these areas, and that is why these kind of areas are seeing this kind of conflicts. So it is very important to understand what are the major reasons why this kind of commercialization takes place. So the tendency to receive these kind of economic gains is seen as one of the major factor which fuels this kind of commercialization. So for this study, we are trying to understand and try to study the commercial performance as a dependent variable, and what are the various factors and variables on which the commercial performance actually depends, so that we can understand the dynamics of this kind of mixed-use commercialization in the area. So for our study, Delhi is actually divided into 15 planning zones. We have taken the zone H for our study because it is a very heterogeneous area. It has a very mixed kind of a urban settlement where there are planned residential colonies, unplanned residential colonies, urban villages, unauthorized and authorized colonies. So each kind of urban development and settlement is already available here. And for our study, we have taken 213 stores from 8 streets which have different kind of road width and ROW. As we can see in the image, this is the kind of development, commercial development, which takes place into these residential areas. And this is a list of 8 streets which have right of way of about 9 meters from 13.5 meters and 18 meters. If we see the indicators and the variables which we have taken for this study, the commercial performance indicator is seen as average sale of a particular store which is located on this street on a weekday. We have taken other indicators, the independent variables like number of customers buying, size of store, number of employees, type of activity. Then we have also tried to model the informal activities which are taking place in front of these stores. We have also tried to see what are the mixedness based indicators which actually define these areas as mixed use areas. For example, to see whether the shop owner who is having that shop is also living in the same building where his workplace or shop is located. We will also like to see if the large percentage of customers is actually local and coming from within the 2 kilometer of buffer zone of the shop. We have tried to model the right of way of the streets because the streets are declared on the basis of right of way and the number of intersections within a particular buffer zone. So these are the factors on which we have modeled this study. The data analysis has shown that the average shop located on this street is having up to 65,000 from 1,000 rupees to 65,000 rupees of daily sale on an average weekday. The commercial activity distribution can be seen that the larger part are retail, which is 49%. Then there are services, 25%, food-based activities, 13%, and multi-purpose stores are about 12%. The shop owners' location, we can see about 41% of the shop owners are within the half kilometer of the shop. So they are actually located very closely to the shop. So working place is nearby. Secondly, we can see that the customers buying, so most of the shops are showing about 25 to 50 customers, which is 66%, or two-thirds of the shops are receiving up to 50 customers a day. So in our study, we have developed a multiple linear regression based model with dummy variables. And in our study, we have found a significant model with which is actually explaining about 64% of the variance in the value of average sale of a shop. And the factors which have been come out significant in our study are store area, number of employees, high number of customers buying in these shops. Different activities have also come significant. Number of local customers, shop owners, location has also come a significant factor. Road width is also a significant factor. So based on our model's prediction, we can actually draw some conclusions, and later on we can base our policy implications on the basis of this. So this study actually proposes a framework to assess commercial performance in terms of average sale of stores in mixed-use neighborhoods. Larger shop area is actually positively associated with sale and can have policy implications on provision of increased FAR. It can actually help in deciding the FARs. Secondly, the higher sale values are related with high customer footfall. This can help in prioritizing the infrastructure demand, especially for parking, as the number of people visiting these shops can indicate how much parking is required and what provisions can be made for pedestrians which are coming to these shops. It is showing that more people are actually employed with these neighborhoods, and it actually shows that mixed use area are able to contain the population in a particular area because people are getting economic opportunities in these areas. Our survey results also show that these streets are highly mixed in terms of activity type. We have all kind of activities from retail to services to food to multi-purpose stores, but the highest amount of sales is received by retail activities, followed by services, food, and multipurpose stores. Our results show that local customers are not much in numbers. So if there are local customers which are coming to these stores, that doesn't guarantee that the store is going to have a higher sale. That means the stores which are actually experiencing a higher sale are attracting the customers from larger area, which is beyond 2 kilometer range of this shop. So that means we have to take that into account, and the planners must do the provisions for people from outside visiting these areas. That is one of the major reasons why some of the problems are happening in this area, and there is a lack of infrastructure to cater to these people who are coming from outside. Secondly, shop owner's location and his residence is also important factor, because we have found in this study that shops which have their owner living in the same premises or within the 500 meter of the range are having higher sales. So that means people are actually doing good when they stay near to their home. So that actually satisfies the condition that mixed use areas are better performing in terms of their economic vitality. But it is very important that these areas should have proper provisions of infrastructure. Finally, the increased road width is also important because it is associated with larger plot size, and larger plot size is seen a better sales value and sales happening in this area. So overall, we can say that these mixed use areas and their economic activities, actually commercialization depends on these different factors, and controlling and understanding these factors in a better way will help in managing these areas in a better way. Thank you very much for being with us and for giving us this opportunity to present our research. Thank you.